Welcome to the Business Performance Podcast, where we feature expert thought leaders and cover their best strategies, stories, and advice that you can use to successfully mature your own business performance. Now, here is your host, business coach, Henry Schneider. Hello, everyone. This is Henry Schneider with the Business Performance Podcast. And today it's my pleasure to speak with Padhu Raman, who is been involved in supply chain for the past 20 years or so. And the past 3 or 4 years, he's been working with a startup company on Project Verte to do supply chain automation, inventory process quality, and full circle e-commerce. So Padhu, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you, Henry.
Okay, so to begin with, to kind of put things into context, could you explain to everybody what Project Verte is and what it's doing and who your customers are and the types of services you provide?
Yeah, sure. So Project Verte is a full circle e-commerce solution provider. Think about as a fourth generation of an extended Amazon platform. We focus primarily more of small, medium enterprises who want to be brand conscious and brand protection. Right. So we provide the capital infrastructure, the logistics framework for small, medium retailers to compete in a multi-channel environment. Our philosophy is to enable sell anywhere. So small, medium retailers coming to us can sell in any channels. We have our own channel as well called myverte.com, our own marketplace. Plus they can even sell on Amazon, eBay, Rakuten, name the channels. We help in manage anywhere. We consolidate all the inventory and orders and provide a one global view of solution for them to plan and orchestrate the orders. And we also enable a fulfill anywhere solution. As part of the fulfill, we provide a fulfillment facility at in our Atlanta DC, which is 1 million square foot, which is a 750,000 almost square foot robotic operations. So that's a quick summary of what we have and what we do. And the entire solution is built on a blockchain framework, which enables trust and traceability for the participants as a community model.
Okay. All right. So now you mentioned about the facility. Is that yours, or are you saying that's what you have at it?
Yeah. So we have one facility in Atlanta, which we own. Okay. And then we do a fulfillment network, what we call a common pool sharing. So we extend all other facilities that are under our network and use our order management to provide a visibility view.
Okay, so then your facility, then you have a number of different e-commerce sites coming in there. So how do you avoid getting their inventory confused?
That's a great question. So every product is basically tagged. So it has its own UPC, which is called a trace, and every product is tagged with a seller and a seller attributes. And within our facility, we have what we call as a goods to person system, which is I would call we use a technology similar to Kiva. It's called Gray Orange, which has a capability to have products not commingled. So we have around 6,000, which we can store up to 1.4 million units. And each bin is tagged to one particular seller, one product. And that way we maintain an inventory accuracy and product transparency.
Okay. Now I've seen videos of like the Amazon distribution centers where they got like robots going around and pulling things up. Is that the same sort of thing?
It's the same sort of thing. So so if you think about, yes, the fulfillment is one part of it, which uses similar to Amazon. We use a different technology called Gray Orange, and we have the same capability of, it is broken into 5 key steps. You just do a receive, you put away at the units and eaches, you pick, pack, and ship out. It's a very simple operation, and that's the reason we're able to do a higher throughput. What differentiates is the technology and the software that runs behind it and around it, right? So we track the traceability through a blockchain. We enable that visibility through a blockchain. So the overall combination of the systems make it as a unique and a niche. But the technology is fairly similar.
Okay, so when you got your facility operating, how do you detect damaged goods?
Okay, so it's a great question. So as soon as the product arrives at our facility, we do what we call as a receiving check-in. So at that point in time, so a step back before, we also have capability to trace the product from the manufacturer or the distributor to our facility. And through our blockchain framework, we enable the traceability, right? So that's one way we know that the product is there if the seller participates. But as soon as it arrives at our dock, we do a receiving check-in. So we check every product, and then we do a put away at each unit level. So that's the reason we guarantee an inventory accuracy close to 99.9%, where we scan every product. If there's a damage or any or a product has lost in transit, we capture at that point and we report through our what we call the seller portal to our sellers and customers immediately. And with our blockchain, it is immutable. It's tracked that instance, and for the real-time quick view. And we do a doctor stock time of 30 minutes. So that gives a very credible response to a customer to say, hey, we send this product, we received this much units, and this many units were damaged, and we captured that, right?
Okay.
And considering it's a goods to person, no man's zone, the inventory shrinkage is almost zero because no man touches that after that.
Okay, so now when you're stocking shelves, there's there's like basically two ways, LIFO and FIFO. So are you doing first in, first out, or last in, first out?
So we have both the capabilities. So that depends on the product, right? So if it has to be a product which is an expiry track or expiration date track, then we would do the FIFO logic.
Okay.
But if it is a certain product, we will do a LIFO. And that's, again, different on the product attributes, product requirements. We support both.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Now, when it comes to this, quality is quite an important attribute here. So, and quality is a pretty broad term. Mm-hmm. So how do you define quality?
So the way, for us, quality is primarily, I would describe as customer satisfaction, right? Because we are in an e-commerce business. Mm-hmm. Our qualities, I would say, is broken down to 4 different broader categories. One, what we call has a quality of measure in terms of delivery. So when a customer is ordering and we promising a date and a time, which is a requested delivery date, and are we delivering on time in full, right? That's the first metric that we track from a customer satisfaction, which kind of it's a quality aspect of it. The second aspect is what is the product that we are storing and shipping? Are we shipping without any errors, which is called, could be a mispecs or wrong packaging, damages, or any of those things. So we do a check at the time of what we do a pick pack. So the goods to person system reduces the travel aspect of it, but the pick pack is still to some extent manual. The very reason for us to doing manual is we have multiple sellers. At the same time, the products are different. We want to ensure that every product that we pick is as per the requirements of the customer. There's no mistakes. So what we have done is we have enhanced the system as part of the packing process to give them the product attributes, the product dimensions, the weight checks, the packaging aspects of it, such a way that the error is reduced or almost zero, right? So that's an aspect of it. Okay. The third piece of quality accuracy is our inventory control. Since it's a goods to person robots, once in, no man enters, so automatically it's checked. The fourth is the inbound, we do a checks of everything. So we make sure that the order quality, the inventory quality, and the process quality, all three maintained and accurately represented.
Okay, so when you do your checks, when you're getting ready to ship and you find errors or mistakes or issues, what do you do with that information?
2 things. One, we would do the checks, the pick pack itself, and then if there's any errors or checks, we basically take it to what we call as an hospital or error region. Second, as a part of that process, error handling process, is to satisfy the order, because our commitment is making sure we do it on order in time, on full in a correct way, right? So the customer is not impacted. So we try to, what we do is process the order again and ship that order out. This product, which is being damaged, gets written to our blockchain and get into our vendor system, and then we do an assessment. where the issue or the quality problem occurred, whether it occurred in the inbound or it was something in the regular maintenance process, something with happened, or somebody misspec or mishandled the product at the packet, right? To do the assessment, and based on that, we either do additional training or introduce additional standard operating process or ship it back to the vendor or retailer.
Okay. So now you have a very low approval or loss ratio. You said.
Correct.
So are you looking at trends at all? See, when you have something has that mistake, has that been occurring over and over and over again, or is it getting the same, or is it worse, or what?
Correct. So we do an analysis, what we call as a quality review, and then we do a monthly and a quarterly. And as part of our quarterly, we do a QBRs with all our sellers and our operations team. So considering since why I've been stressing the word blockchain is because our entire database we are migrated into a blockchain framework. Okay. So when we have the monthly or QBRs, we go to our blockchain Verte Explorer, which is open, where sellers can access 24/7. It has by timestamp, by second when the incident occurs. So it's not an ambiguity to say, okay, it happened this number of times. So the reporting is automatic. The dashboarding is automatic. The information is automatic, right? And it's by the granular level because we are capturing the reason code or the trigger point at every instance. Okay. So it's all capped to the granular level and we roll it up and automatically. And moreover, the sellers can or the customers can see in the seller portal any point in time what was my quality damage, what are the reason for it, where it was occurred. And the other aspect is since it's an automated and robotic facility, we have cameras throughout. So automatically a snapshot is taken and built in as part of the blockchain system. So they can view what's happening. So there is not an argument at all.
Okay, so let's talk about the robots for a moment. What are some of the failure modes that you've seen with your robots moving around the facility?
So every system has its own maintenance and own challenges, right? So if you think that robots, the main challenges would be or the failure modes would be is in terms of not maintaining it at regular, right? So because as the wear and tear, we run 24/7 operations. We have 225 robots, and generally we use around I would say 75% as a workforce that is working constantly. There are almost like a buffer for I would say remaining 25% as a buffer, which is a maintenance cycle. So if we don't maintain the threshold correctly, there are some instances where it's not getting charged to the optimal charge level, that degrades the performance, or these reads the barcodes, so the flows are not cleaned well, then there is issues with the robot. So the general maintenance is low, but again, it's like anything, right? You can buy a Rolls Royce or buy a Mercedes-Benz or an ordinary car. If you don't maintain the Rolls Royce, it's not going to run.
Sure.
But if you maintain your ordinary sedan, maybe a Honda Civic, you maintain it well, even if it will run for 200,000 miles. It's as simple as it is, right? So, but these are industrial robots designed to operate well. But at the same time, if you don't maintain well, if you don't follow the procedures well, there is going to be challenges. But generally, you will see a lot of failures during initial calibration mode. But once it's calibrated and it's running, it just runs.
So do the robots have like collision detection so they can?
They have their onboarding. They have their what we call ODS, which is a onboarding detection system. So automatically it knows if another robot is coming, this stops and other moves. So all those are all built in.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So now, when you're talking with potential clients about using supply chain automation, what are some of the biggest misconceptions out there when it comes to quality and what you're trying to do with this?
It's a good question. Generally, when we talk about automation and robotics, first of all, most of the clients don't understand what is automation, what is robotics to a certain extent, right? They do understand. So fundamentally is robotics and automation help in completing the job, but don't complete the job in today's world, right? There are still 100% automated robotics. We have not reached the state yet. What we advise the clients and everybody is the robots and automation that we provide helps to reduce the mundane work. It helps to increase the productivity. but at the same time, and it helps to energy conservation. It helps in sustainability. There are a lot of benefits, and it reduces the cost, but it doesn't change a human work.
Mm-hmm.
So there has to be a human intervention at different points. One. Number two, not every process can be automated. If it is a regular streamlined work, yes. But we are in a multi-seller environment. We cannot operate every product and every aspect. What we have automated is certain storage, retrieval, reslotting, wherever we can travel is involved, we reduce the travel, so fatigue level is low. So all those things. But still your put away process of scanning and putting, and similarly picking and packing, it is a human activity.
Okay.
You can automate to some extent, but not to the fullest extent, right? So those are the realizations that we try to explain and make them aware.
Okay, so now just talk about your facility for a second. Since most of it's automated, how many people actually are there to help ensure the operations are continuing properly?
It's a good question. So I will have to answer in terms of capacity of what we can do, and then I come back to the people, right?
Okay.
So our model is driven in terms of to say you scale the facility. The facility is designed to output almost 120,000 orders per day. It has 5 key components of robots, which is robotics systems, which is basically the pick pack stations, the put away stations, the robots, the charging stations, right? And then which is and the calibration stations, right? So maintenance stations. We are based on the requirements. We have around 25 pick pack stations and 9 inbound stations. If we are operating at the full capacity, each stations, pick pack stations needs 3 people to operate 1 station. Put away stations require 2 people to operate. So I would say close to 100 people plus the direct functions and indirect functions. Close to 200 is where to come down to, right? The receivers, the loading and shipping, which is considerably very efficient operation step when you're operating 100,000 orders per day. But the beauty of this thing is you don't have to operate the full capacity every day, right? We can shrink, we can expand. And the beauty of the system is that, right? It enables us to operate a peak level throughout every day. Mm-hmm. But if I have to shrink, I can even operate 3 stations and I can operate with 20 people, right? So based on the requirements, I can fluctuate, change, add, and I can add a new system, it can easily expand as well, right? So that's the benefit of it. So I would say around 200, 250 people overall the peak if I have to operate on every day. And this designed to operate every day at a peak level.
Okay.
Every day could be a peak.
Okay, so then theoretically, then your staffing could be fluctuating too, depending upon the peak and how many customers you've got and all that.
Correct. And then the other thing is the training and the change management is so simple on these systems because of that advantage to increasing quality. So even if we have a fluctuation of temp associates or standby associates or rotational associates, we get them trained in 15 to 20 minutes. We have a demo stations where they practice and they get trained in 20 minutes and they just repeat that work, right? So the accuracy is not compromised, the quality is not compromised. So that's the flexibility that we have.
So the shelves where you store all the products, are they set at the same configuration all the way through?
Good question. So each shelf is designed. There are 7. We currently have 7 different types. Each shelf can be configured based on the requirements that we need. Okay. It could be a type to hold footwear, apparel, garments on hanger, or drums. Each shelf is reconfigurable, and you can configure in like 30 minutes to the needed requirements. So it's very flexible warehouse what we have built.
Okay, so when you reconfigure the shelves, then I guess you have to tell your robots what the new configuration is, so then they don't make mistakes.
No, that's the beauty of it. The robot's job is to only move the system from one station to the location or back to the station. The software behind it is yes. The software behind understand. That's built on AI and ML, and in fact, it will recommend certain things as well, and which the enhancement that we have talked about, which we built over the system. Will give you the configuration, the recommended configuration by product type, what is the configuration that needs to be done, and we make the system recognize it. And the software, we get automatically updated when we change these configurations.
Okay. All right. Now, what's the biggest challenge that you are facing with business performance?
Um, the main challenge first is converting. I mean, if you have, it depends on the business requirements, right? So if we are trying to convert an existing retailer and they want to have migration into our systems in terms of coming into an moving from a traditional retail distribution to an omni-channel distribution, right? So those are the challenges where we have to put a paradigm shift in them, put a change management, to move from a traditional case handling to a unit and each handling, right? So those are the different aspects. And it's not just migration into our system, it's generally the retailer's process, right? And then second challenges is changing the supply chain, right? Whenever they're moving from one distribution or one fulfillment channel to another fulfillment channel, there is an inertia to resist the change, because although they see a benefit, they see a lot of challenges, competition from other players, but still they're resistant to change. But now things have changed. With Amazon really pushing every retailer, everybody wants to move to this capital intensive solution, and that's where it's a challenge, but we have a solution, right? Because to develop this solution for any retailer or any small medium enterprise, it's a very enormous capital investment.
Mm-hmm.
We provide what we call as a common sharing program, right? So we basically have developed this, it's ready to operate, it's in operation currently. Sellers can just come in, automatically adapt to it. So that's a challenge we are solving for them. But it's just the change management is what we see as a challenge. Okay. And then the way we have structured ourselves as a full circle and a pricing, they are traditional model of pricing, migrating into our model of pricing is another challenge that we see. But I think it's a matter of time everybody realizes, and this common sharing program will be the future.
All right. So what are some of the fears that small to medium retailers have when they are starting to consider doing this automated supply chain distribution center?
I think the one is basically, I would say, the cost, right? The capital cost of operations. That's, I think, the main thing. The second is they are feeling left out if they don't participate in Amazon. They are getting left out. But again, the catch 22, right? If they participate in Amazon, what they see is also their brand being compromised in a shorter time with Amazon Basics competing with them, right? It's almost like it's okay. I don't participate in Amazon. I'm not able to sell. Okay, what is my alternate platform? So I think that's where our platform differentiates, right? So I wouldn't say we are competing with Amazon. It's just that different platform where we are guaranteeing them the brand protection. So that is the fear, right? So they have a fear of, okay, if I go to Amazon, I will lose. At the same time, my product is compromised. I spend this much of marketing dollars, and Amazon Basics comes with $1 less to next to them. If they're a good seller, they lose the business. So that's a fear, but I think that's what we are there to elevate the field, right? Okay, come to us. We offer a platform. We offer a brand protection. We offer brand traceability, brand trust. If everything is a blockchain, everything is open. You see how it's going. At the same time, we're giving the exact or a better capability than because we're not restricting to our channels. Any channel you can sell. We consolidate and give you a one-stop management. So those are fears we are solving for them.
All right. So could you please share a story how you've helped a specific retailer to overcome these obstacles and become successful in their marketing and sale of their products and services?
Sure. I mean, we had a very recent retailer who were trying to, we basically do all this luxury spectacles, the glasses.
Oh, okay.
Do all the different brands. So they were they were trying to go to Amazon. They were trying to build on their own. Then finally, we were able to reach them through a different contact. They came to us. So one, we showed them the product and what capabilities we have. So they started the pilot with us. They evaluated that if they have done by themselves, it would have taken them almost 24 months to build up a facility like this. So we onboarded them in almost, I would say, 12 weeks, in less than 3 months, where we changed their supply chain, we got them onboarded. We did a almost immediate ramp up. they saw a quick 4x productivity increase from their current manual operations. They are paying almost, I would say, heavy price in Amazon, and after coming out of Amazon, I would say they got like 40% to 50% savings directly in terms of cost of operations. And then what we saw was, I mean, what they saw was what they were doing manually. We were able to reduce a missed picks by like 99%, 99%. And their current, what they were operating was like 25 units per hour. We were operating for them at almost 80 units per hour. Those are like almost like, I would say, 225% improvements. So that's a story, right? Because if a small medium retailer has two choices: compete with Amazon. That means they have to open an infrastructure that Amazon supports in terms of order creation, in terms of management, in terms of fulfillment, in terms of delivery. Or go into Amazon, do the risk of losing the business with Amazon Basics, compete in Amazon Basics. Now, where do they go? They come to alternate platforms who offer the similar full solution, Verte, and gain the productivity. So that's the differentiator.
Yeah, and it sounds to me with those gains, that more than offsets the cost that they have to pay you for these services.
Yes. And we're cheaper than Amazon. I mean, I can guarantee that because we did prove with them, right? I mean, we have solid proof right now where they saw this, and then that's the customer is actually being our focal ambassador, if you want to call, in helping us in expanding out. Because we are just a 2-year-old company, out of which I would say 15, 16 months we spent in just building the infrastructure, building the people, building the process, building the technology. And now we came out of stealth mode and being operational in probably 6 months, and we're seeing ourselves well recognized in the industry right now, slowly.
Okay, so if you could distill your story down into like a sentence, what would be the moral of the story?
Oh, that's a very, I think even a single sentence would be, we are a 4th generation Amazon, if you want to, or a 5th generation Amazon. That will be the one single line, I would say.
Okay.
But that encompasses what everything. It's an evolution, right? I mean, it's over a period of time. Things have evolved, and I think it's an evolution for us.
So how are you staying ahead or even at pace with Amazon? Because they seem to be constantly reinventing themselves and getting more and more efficient.
Yes, I mean, as I said, we are definitely not competing with Amazon. But we are offering our niche solutions, and there is a big need, right? Certain brands won't participate in Amazon. Certain customers won't shop at Amazon, right? So we are an alternate platform. That's all I would say. It is, and at the same time, with what we consistently do is we upgrade our systems as well in terms of customer requirements. The only way we believe we do is listen to our customers. Right? We listen to the customers in terms of sellers, we listen to the end buyers, understand their pain points, and then we are keeping upgrading and rationalizing. And we are small, nimble, and we're entrepreneurial in mind. So we are going to be constantly evolving and changing.
Okay. Now, I've heard a news report a while back with Amazon where they have a lot of products that have serious problems with it that may be in violation of some health and safety regulations. But I guess what you're doing is you are a product agnostic. You're just providing the services to.
Correct. Correct. And then wherever there is, so we are power agnostic. We're just providing the platform. We're just providing the service. But if there are compliance requirements, like an FDA requirements or pharma requirements, we are only very selective in our product selection or seller selection in terms of whom we can support. We can support almost most of the products, except which is grocery requirements, like a frozen requirements, or temperature control requirements. We don't support at this point, but doesn't mean that in future we won't support. Again, we are developing ourselves. Any pharma, we are not compliant, so we don't support that. But most of the things we have, as we have certifications. So as going back to your previous question, how we are competing or we are keeping ourselves adapted. So as the seller's requirements comes in, we basically go and equip ourselves to support the sellers, right? So that we are open for it. and we continuously evolve from it. But as I said, we are not liable for any aspects of it because we don't own the product. We're just providing the platform and service for it.
So if one of your retailers are selling firearms, what you're doing is moving those around in the warehouse, but for you, it's a box or a unit.
Correct. So there is a specific area we zone out, and in that area of specific zone out, we have caged storage units, right? Okay. So that way there's a specific protocol that we'll follow and work through.
All right. Now, let's talk about your history here. So you said you've been involved with supply chain and distribution for about 20 years. So what happened over your career, defining moment that led you into Project Verte?
So good. I started my career with Bosch, and then I did a lot of logistics, supply chain for the Bosch global network out of India. That enticed me into the supply chain world. So I started working for a company called Manhattan Associates. They are the leaders in supply chain solution providers. So I happened to do a lot of automation and robotics projects for different retailers, and that landed me with Manhattan integration. That landed me into a project in South America. So I was working in Chile, where Grey Orange was implementing their first robotic solution for one of the retailers there. So that enticed me, and they were also trying to do another project or this venture in America. And the investors and Grey Orange, they wanted somebody who understands the supply chain and the robotics and help them build the business. Mm-hmm. So one phone call, I came and met the investors, and that put me motivational to build something from ground up, right? I mean, you don't get this kind of experience to build a company, let us say people, put a process from the ground up, put a technology from ground up, think through this blueprint, right? And then being the founding member and create an excitement, which is like to say to, hey, we are a fourth generation Amazon, working model after 2 years. Imagining that vision 2 years before and putting the blueprint is what motivated me to do this.
Okay. All right. So Padhu, now thinking about your life, could you share an experience that you may have had early on in your maybe childhood or adolescence that still influences how you approach business today?
I think it's a good question. Think through aspect of it. I think my association as a team building, I was heavily involved in sports and as well as studies. So I've probably done a lot of balancing between my studies and sports. And I was part of the sports where sometimes we had to work hard, train, we'll fail, but at the same time, we will get up. As a team, we'll work. And I think one of the things I learned from that is teamwork is always, hard work and teamwork will always help you to be successful. And I think that's what I leveraged and I continuously put it in my business. And that's what I believe here now also. I believe in the thought process of servant leadership, right? So where you are part of the problem and you're not away from the problem, but you work with the team as a problem and help the team with the problem and be successful. It's a team camaraderie that comes into play.
Okay, wonderful. Now, so how do you define success?
I would say success is something which you envision that you have a goal that you have to complete, but at the same time, you don't grade the success. It's a quality of the success and not the quantity of success that matters. And what I mean by it, when I say quality of the success, you do approach the problem or do approach anything with the ethical, moral, and in a reasonable effort, right? The maximum effort and producing a quality output, combining the quantity, but not focusing on quantity, but compromising anything else. So I would say success is something where you're not as a success as an individual, you lead and you success as a team with all the principles in play. Okay. That's how I would define success.
Okay, great. So how do you define success for Padhu Raman?
I think so for success of Padhu Raman at this point is as long as, I've been working towards that. Have I attained the success yet? I don't know. That's a a relative aspect of it. As long as I think the society and the team I'm working and everybody is successful with me and the team we built here, for me, at least at this point in my career or juncture, if the company is successful, the team is successful, I think that is my success.
All right, thank you. Now, to kind of shift gears a little bit, thinking now in your position, what are your top three concerns or business challenges that you're currently faced with?
My position at this point is the main business challenges what we have faced is getting this marketing, right? Getting the sales and marketing engine running in a full steam. The way we thought that we will be able to achieve, but I think that's one aspect which we are continuously working hard to develop it. And second, I think you had the question before itself, how you're adapting to your competition, right? Being ahead of your competition or being in parallel and keep adapting and change. So that is something, and the technology changing drastically. It's not like 10 years ago, a technology comes in, stays for 3-4 years, and we react to it. It was like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and things change. Mm-hmm. And you have to react to it at a faster rate. And then the sustainability, right? The how do we what we have done so far in the industrial revolution and electronic revolution, all the revolutions, is we have not thought about the environment and sustainability. Now, at least the next generation, millennials, the global warming, and everybody has driven to be a sustainable model. And how we do in a very good sustainable way is our focus. Even our facility, we think we have tried to make sure we deploy the principles of triple bottom line, right? Making sure economic conditions are met. Yes, that is important, but at the same time, not compromising on the environment and the social responsibility. So that's the aspect. How do we maintain the triple bottom line as a fine thread?
Okay. Now, when I was listening to you, kind of brought up another thing in my mind is with technology. You have invested in a lot of robots and equipment. Mm-hmm. So and you're just really come on, operational over the last 6 months. So what do you see as the refresh rate on upgrading your hardware so you can stay ahead with technology?
Yeah, I think we have planned this for almost, I would say, every 3 years to revisit, but we have planned for 5 years, definitely. These robots are there. At the same time, as we are also open for new innovations, new aspects. So at this point, we think that every 2 to 3 years is a reasonable time for us to go and revisit. And the beauty of it is we don't have to upgrade everything at the same time. They're flexible. So we upgrade in a partial, right? So crawl, walk, run approach.
Okay. All right. So now, what kind of competition do you have? I mean, you've got Amazon is up here, but you're looking at the small, the medium. Who's your competition in this space?
So there are, if you think about competition for us in an individual perspective, a marketplace, we have Amazon, eBay, Rakuten, there are many other marketplaces. If you look at the fulfillment and aspects, there are the 3PL providers, right? There are big players, even like XPO, Geodis, or there are many other players that do. But there is not many who do like a multi-seller except Amazon. And there is not many who have the end-to-end solution. Yes, if you think it as a one entity, as a fulfillment, there are some niche players, right? There are some players. There's a little bit less multi-sellers, but there are some niche players. You look at only marketplace, there are better marketplaces. Or, I mean, I have to be honest with you, right? So unless we are proven, we cannot compare, right? And but if you look at the entire package, where we have the marketplace, we have the blockchain that covers the entire framework from a traceability community model, robust order management, and enabling our fulfillment and common sharing of fulfillment model, what we call the fulfillment network. I don't see many out there. I mean, there are one or two, but I don't see that many competitions. Nobody has providing end-to-end. There are some people who only provide, without marketplace, they provide other solutions. Mm-hmm. Like there are the players, but not many are providing an end-to-end solution so far.
All right. So when a small or medium-sized retailer is considering coming to you, what's the most important question they should be using to evaluate Project Verte against the competition?
3 things, right? One, pricing, the first thing that comes into prime, that we able to save them, right? If they participate with us, our pricing model is very simple. We do a simple percentage of order value. It's a published one, like 5.75, so nobody can beat that for pricing and cost for them. The second thing they look at is that we guarantee or we do a brand protection and brand trust, right? That itself, it's the fear they look at from the aspect. Third is the scalability, where we can provide end-to-end scalability and flexibility, because what we have is not only our own fulfillment centers, we have a network of partnership with other fulfillment networks, so they are able to guarantee low-cost delivery model, right, and a faster delivery model. So those are the bigger three aspects of which they can start evaluating. All other things comes as part of it, right? Low cost, increased accuracy, increased speed, and most efficient.
Okay, now shifting gears again a little bit. You've been in as an entrepreneur and startup for little over 2 years.
Yes.
So if you had to start everything over again from scratch now, what would you do differently?
I would have hired the sales and marketing team as my first step. No, I think there are a lot of lessons learned. One of the biggest lessons learned was that we thought build the field of dreams, right? Build a field and they will come. This business doesn't work that way a little bit. Our investors have also realized that, as because we also had some other real estate aspects of it. So there are some models differently, but I think in this industry, you need to build collaborative with the sales and marketing and help that. I would have done a little bit better than that. Mm-hmm. And then certain aspects where we chose the build was buy, would have gone a little bit more buy to start with than build, because it takes time to build certain things and to put a crawl, walk, run. When you're doing something entrepreneurial, your technology, you want to do fast, you think you can do everything yourselves, but sometimes there's a calibration. Okay, let's get some experts and then go back and do it, right? So those are, I think, the key areas I would say we would have done a little different if you had to do it again.
Okay, so do you have your own team of software developers to handle, or are you outsourcing that?
We have our own developer. We have a 40-member team. We sit between Israel and the US, so we split that.
All right. Okay, Padhu, we're rapidly running out of time now. So how can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more about you and Project Verte?
Yeah, so one, they can go to our website, www.projectverte.com. So they can go to my LinkedIn, which is Padhu Raman, and then I'm always available on LinkedIn connecting and do it. Or they can send me an email at praman@projectverte.com.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much today. I've really enjoyed talking with you, and I want to be respectful of your time because we could just keep going on and on and on. So, Padhu, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Andrew. I enjoyed talking to you as well.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Business Performance Podcast with your business coach, Henry Schneider. For more episodes and business strategies, please visit welcome.ppqc.net/blog. That's www.welcome.ppqc.net/blog. And remember to subscribe so you can get the latest episodes. Thank you.